Joe. The best side of Pat Dalpiaz. Sorry.
If you could press.
Thank you.
We lost Bobby Shafford, Billy Time, David Sullivan. You see, Sully was a friend of mine. Andrea Dale goes dead.
No.
There's no.
No,
fade on that.
That's
There's
not
no
a
fade.
fucking fade. The whole idea
You need
is.
a little training from the director because
Some rehearsal. Some rehearsal.
Where's the guy that has all the, what do you call it?
Malachi.
Yeah, Malachi.
Malachi.
What does he do?
Yes,
He's,
yeah.
What's
He's
the
a
name?
Foley artist.
He's a
Foley
Foley.
artist.
You need Foley artist practice.
All right.
But thank you.
I'll put that on my list.
I appreciate it was a good effort.
You should come to the youth acting workshop.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
We'll take care of you. We'll
Thank
train
you.
you.
Pat
Thank you.
Dalpiaz. This is GloucesterCast 355. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us now, but a bunch are coming.
More to come.
More to come. Brandon Pratt is with us.
Morning.
Heidi Dallin is with us. Bob, is it Bob or Robert? Can we go?
Either one, whatever you like.
Bob Walsh is with us because we're casual here.
Okay.
We're chill.
Right.
Jimmy Dalpiaz is behind the camera. If anybody has any questions, they can direct it to Jimmy Dalpiaz, and he will give them to the people that are watching the Facebook live feed, because we're doing these on the Good Morning Gloucester Facebook
they're
page.
beginning
Chris
to
isn't here,
response.
but happy birthday, Joey.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Pat Dalpiaz is with us.
Good morning,
as well.
Gloucester. Yes.
Pat had a very busy week.
I had a very busy week this week.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous and
I
wonderful,
think
though.
this was starting on Friday. Oh, so we can actually claim this. Every year, there are the Facebook criers, the town criers. There's like probably 5 or 6 of them that have to comment on everything, and everything is verbose. Everything is the most it's ever been, the biggest that it's ever been, the worst it's ever been. So every year, this year we had a pool going on one of, and I won't say their names because I don't think that they're self-aware enough to know that they're the town criers. But they're the people that every single year they say, I've never seen the traffic this bad. But it's every single year they say it. And every year, no, it's the same traffic on the boulevard when the bridge is up, because when I was a kid, it was that way, and it's still that way, and everything else. So, but this past Friday, I'm not going to say it was the worst ever, but this was the first Schooner Festival weekend where I would say the traffic was comparable to a Fiesta weekend.
It was.
Yeah.
It
Friday
was,
night was
yeah.
bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the block party, too.
The block party on top of it,
And
yeah.
the block
Right.
party was really well attended. I mean, I'm at all 3 of them
Yeah.
with the, performing with the kids. And this was really well attended, I thought. I even saw Chris McCarthy there.
He did say, he said he knew that you were going to be here because of that.
Yeah.
He was here
And where
minutes
is he?
He's,
So what happened to him?
because there are certain people that say that they are dedicated to this podcast and they're team players, like Kim Smith
Right.
and Chris McCarthy, and as soon as Schooner Festival comes, poof, they're out. But we have the diehards. We have Jimmy
Thank
and Pat
God.
here. We have Heidi, Bob,
Kim is
Brandon
doing
here.
a lot of work with her photography.
Oh
Can't be in
no,
two
no!
places
Don't give
at
her a
once.
pass.
Right.
She doesn't get it.
Kim
There's no
texted
free
me.
passes.
She was
here.
Kim said she was gonna try to go drop by, but Chris, no show.
Chris is attending to my wife and my stepson Connor. He's taking them out for the schooner sale. What we
Yeah.
calling it? The
Oh, the
Parade
parade
of-
of sales.
Parade of sales.
Oh, that's
parade
good.
sale, parade of lights.
That's
Yeah,
good. The family business. His
yeah,
family
yeah.
business.
He's taking care of stuff.
Yeah, good.
So that's good.
We have Jack Mandello and Kathy Hull is watching.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Welcome,
So so all I could think of yesterday afternoon was another epic Gloucester weekend.
It absolutely was.
You know, like
absolutely.
that. It could have only been here, and it could only be that. I feel like we were the most magnificent place to be on earth yesterday, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Agreed.
just so amazing.
Agreed.
The weather, the schooners in the harbor, the restaurants. It was just another one. Like that, you just.
Oh, you got. There's somebody down there.
Okay, I'll go take care of them.
Okay.
You got so I want you to talk about you volunteering at the Schooner Festival
Yeah,
and
okay.
the mayor's thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I don't know how many of you got to all of these different schooner activities this weekend, but I volunteered because I thought, well, this is a good way. We've never done the Schooner Fest. We've always missed it.
Oh.
So this year we said, no, we're absolutely not missing it this year. Set in stone. We're going to be here. Period. End of the discussion. So I thought, well, a good way to do that is to volunteer to help out, and then you're right there and you're learning and doing and knowing and so that's what I did. And I was working at the hello.
All right.
Good morning. So these are guys.
Two playwrights have entered
Two
the
playwrights.
room.
Oh, okay, very
Take some
good.
seats.
Two
Welcome.
playwrights from New York have entered the room.
Welcome.
Well, at least they're not wearing Yankees hats. We got that going for
My
us.
wife's a Mets fan, so that wouldn't happen.
So there you go.
So Jim's a Mets fan here as well. So.
Oh.
Jim actually works for the Mets organization.
In
do?
the company, yeah.
You work for the Wilpons?
No. I work with the Double A Club.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Pat, tell me about
So Friday night it was the mayor's reception down at Maritime Gloucester, the dock out behind Maritime Gloucester. It was a great event. They had it. There's lots of room down there. They had the tent set up. They had tables, and the Ipswich beer people came. Privateer Rum, is that it? Privateer, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Rum people were there, and it was a gorgeous night. And I was helping check in people, which is a great way for me to put names to some faces that I hear.
Did you have a
often.
Good Morning Gloucester hat on?
I did not.
You have a Good Morning Gloucester shirt on.
Did not.
Oh,
Dude, you're passing out Good Morning Gloucester stickers.
I had them. No, I did not.
did you even say you knew about Good Morning Gloucester, that it existed?
What kind
not
of
to the
fucking
people that I was
ambassadors do we
checking in.
have?
I know. I failed you one more time. But yesterday, when I was down at the schooner dock, helping with people that were going down to the dock to visit the schooners, the guy in charge there knew who I was right away. Oh, you write for Good Morning Gloucester. You like to write about this. You like to write about that. And he actually knew who I was.
Did he mistake you for the piping plover
Well, this
expert?
is what I mean. The only that's what a lot of people do for whatever
Oh,
reason.
of course they do.
And,
Why wouldn't
they? But he only knew me by name. That's all he had ever known about me. So before
Pat
we met.
Dalpiaz, the foremost piping plover authority.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm already sitting in the chair. I'm going to be in such trouble.
Jim, when you see the red dot
light.
coming through the window and on her forehead, you tell her immediately, you duck. Just hit the floor.
Yeah.
Hit the
Yeah.
floor. You know Kim's
It'll
got
be
the
like
sniper thing ready.
Oh.
It'll be like the Godfather when he pulls the wife out of the range of fire with the.
Yeah. All there's going to be is pillow feathers like flying and bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
It's going to go on to
But there was no better way to introduce myself to the Schooner Fest than to stand on the dock yesterday, especially. And,
with your Good Morning Gloucester hat and your shirt.
and
In
sharing
thought.
good
In thought.
sharing Good Morning.
Now,
Gloucester
so
as
were
well.
you on the new dock that they
Yeah.
erected?
Mhm.
How beautiful is that?
That was beautiful. She was really good about. Kelly is the name of the woman who
Organized.
was arranging for the volunteers, and they were very, very good. Which, as a volunteer, really appreciate. Explaining what you were going to do, okay, you'll be on your feet or you won't be on your feet, and it's going to be, you'll be alone or you won't be alone or whatever the different variations are. But one thing they didn't explain was, or that I didn't take into account, was standing on that dock. It
Oh, it gets a little rocky?
it gets a little rocky, and after 3 hours of standing there, I got a little.
When you
Yeah.
when you hit the regular
Yeah.
land, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
your equilibrium's messed
yeah,
up.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
That's
It
funny.
was something I wasn't ready for. Just didn't prepare for it. But
Yeah.
but it was. But yeah, that dock is beautiful. Many people
So
commented
did they
on
let people go on the Columbia? Because the Columbia is that's the star of
The
the
star
show
ship,
outside
the
of our
jewel.
own ships.
Yeah.
But like that ship is. Did they let people? Did they let people
later
go
in
on?
the afternoon, not during my shift, but they did open that up later in the afternoon while I was on the alert had some open time. People could get on the deck and
And
talk to them.
did they make people take their shoe? So I heard you can't wear your shoes
I-
on the Columbia deck.
I didn't see it myself, but I did see buckets for shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
and many of the people that were going back and forth, they were barefoot, just
Yeah,
going wherever they were.
that
going.
boat looks like it's fiberglass because the sheen is so
It's so-
perfect,
it is
but it's actually a steel. The
Wow.
hull is made out of steel.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a gorgeous boat. I don't know how many
It-
millions it
it's
cost to
beautiful.
correct to do, but it was
Yeah.
amazing. So that was good. And tell
Yeah.
me, so the mayor's reception, Heidi, you were there, right?
No,
You
because
didn't?
I was at the block party
Oh,
with all
right.
the youth acting workshop kids.
Yeah.
They
so-
put on a huge spread, like they're shucking oysters.
I've been
on
to
there.
it before, though.
Yeah. So Kate and I were gonna have our wedding down there,
Oh.
in that very space.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, we had a conversation, and I said we have a couple options here, because it's very reasonable. But so we met with the coordinator, and I started. So you have to bring in, the linens, and you have to bring in the chairs, and you have to bring in the bar, and you have to bring in the booze, you have to bring in all this stuff, whatever it is. Don't quote me on how it exactly works, but I started doing the addition, and I said to her, I'm going to leave this up to you. We can go on an incredible trip to Paris and not spare any expense, go to the best restaurants, travel all over the place, and a couple other trips this spring, because that time of the year, and celebrate our wedding that way. Or we can have a wedding, and it didn't necessarily have to be at Maritime Gloucester, although if I was going to do it, it would have been there. I says, or we could do it there and have 2 months of anxiety over who got invited and who didn't get invited, and aggravation and all that money for one day, for really the party is for everyone.
Right.
You say it's for you, but it's really for everyone else. I says, or we could go on these incredible trips, and in my opinion, it's for us.
Right.
And I left the decision in her hands, and I'm so proud to say
You were
I
in
made
Paris.
the right decision of a wife, because she picked Paris.
Yeah.
Just
God
pick
bless
Paris.
her. Yeah. God bless her.
No,
Yeah.
that we had the theater gala last year.
Yeah, I
Was
remember
at
you were the
Maritime.
swashbuckler.
Yeah. And at our auction this year, at our 40th anniversary gala, we auctioned off 2 parties
Wow.
that you
Oh, nice.
that you can have it. So we did, and
It's a
actually,
very nice venue.
one of the guys who bought the party is actually
Good morning.
having a party for the theater, like a friends raiser. So that was really nice.
That's nice.
So
Yeah, there you go.
but it's a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
So
Good morning.
There you go, buddy.
Hey.
Take
here
a
we
seat.
have another writer has entered the room.
Is there another New
That's-
Yorker?
Where are you from, John? I'm not sure.
I'm from here. I'm from
Cape Cod.
almost Cape. I'm from right before the bridge,
Oh.
Mattapoisett.
Okay, so
So
He's
so
from the other
where
end
do
of
you
the world.
where do your loyalties fall? Well,
I
really,
live
that's
in
all.
Iowa now, so that's where my loyalties lie.
Oh.
As far as baseball,
I
Drum roll.
I mean the Red Sox, right?
all right.
And making an appearance, coming in now.
There she is. Oh, the red dot. There she is. The sniper. The sniper just showed up. We've been carving you up for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Kim, can you
I
Can you
stood
shut
by
the
it.
outside door? We've been legitimately carving you up for 10 minutes. Just so you know, I didn't want you to think that we weren't doing this behind your back. So I wanted to let you know.
Not sure she heard a word of that.
Probably not.
Apology.
So did you hear what I had to say?
No, I didn't.
We questioned your loyalty to the podcast.
No.
I'm just here for 2 minutes. I just came to say hi. So I'm sorry.
You have to say what baseball team
Yeah.
before you're allowed in the room.
Declare your loyalty.
So what do you have to say for yourself?
It's amazing out there because I'm going to go see the schooners. It's beautiful. It's really
I don't blame you.
beautiful.
So even though I jest and say that she has no loyalty to the podcast because she took the Schooner Fest over us, which the Schooner Fest happens once a year and we happen every week. But I'm sure that she's going to get some tremendous footage
Yes.
that will be displayed on the pages.
She's doing it for you.
Right, already last night
Joey.
with the sunset going down behind the schooners. It was,
Outrageous.
it was amazing. So
You know you're on camera right now. You normally don't like to be on camera.
Okay, bye.
Are you really leaving?
Yeah, I really got
All right. Good luck. Good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing you what you shoot. Have a great day.
Okay,
Say hi to Charlotte.
okay.
And there she is. Benedict
I
Donald
got caught
Smith.
in her chair. Thanks a lot, buddy.
What's that?
Jeez.
You got caught. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. Watch out. The sniper rifle.
Eye to eye, right here. It was
Yeah,
just like
I
that.
saw her. There was laser beams coming out of her eyes.
Yeah.
Especially, I think she has the plant. She has the mic planted in here.
May very well
Whenever we said the foremost piping plover authority, Pat Dalpiaz, that's when the alert got sounded. That's why she showed up. She wasn't coming. She had no intention of coming until she heard that.
No, you're probably
Yeah, you're
right.
probably wired in here.
She came to intimidate Pat. That was the move.
Lucia Skelton says, "Love you guys."
Oh, how nice.
Thank you. What is she?
Love you
What?
too.
Ask her what her opinion. What is her favorite things that she likes on Good Morning Gloucester?
Okay, you just did. Why am I doing it?
Well, we'll see if she's still listening.
Yeah, yeah. It may take a
If I
minute.
see
There
it,
might be a delay.
It's gonna be
I don't
a
know
long
how- I don't
list,
know how
so
it works.
you move on and when
You
it
keep an
pops
eye
up,
on there.
Yeah.
I'll let everybody
So
know.
Brandon Pratt is here.
Yeah.
Brandon Pratt is part of our Cape Ann Home Network, and he posts informative news in the world of real estate and financing real estate.
It's always got good information to share. I like
His
when-
posts
yeah.
are not just shilling his services. They're actually no, they're really
Where are
very,
they?
they're
Where
very
are your posts
informative.
from?
I write those myself.
Where are they?
What do you mean? Where are they?
Cape
They're on
Ann
Cape
Home
Ann Home.
and-
Oh,
On
okay.
Good Morning Gloucester.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Report
Very
about
good.
Good Morning Gloucester.
I try to do 1 or 2 a month, but it's been about once a month lately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's almost like getting a free issue of Barron's for
Okay.
the local real estate market. And,
I'm sure
and
it's wonderful.
financing.
Yeah. He does a
It's
great
awesome.
job explaining things so people can understand it.
So
yeah.
Kate and I just refinanced, and we used Brandon, and we had a loan with a local bank, which didn't offer a long-term fixed rate loan.
Oh, okay.
So our loan was 3 years into the loan, and it was a 7-year adjustable mortgage. And I started to panic a little bit
I don't blame you. I'd be
because
panicking, too.
you're really at the risk of
like every minute of that.
well, yeah, you kind of think like, what happens at the same time? Usually the market tanks because interest rates take off, right? And even though they kind of like ignoring inflation and like there's these huge pressure of the labor market right now, even though they kind of like it seems like you would think that interest rates are rising, but they're kind of not rising. In the back of my mind is if interest rates take off and 4 years go by, now at our age they go by like that.
That's true.
And I'm at the mercy of the market. I'm like, so he's like, why don't you just let me know what you're doing, and I'll run the numbers and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, I just said take a photo of your mortgage statement, send it to me, and I'll get back to you.
Oh,
So
as
That's what
easy
he
as
did.
that?
It's
That's
just that simple.
honestly, it was that easy.
wow. That's
And
great.
we went. Why don't you take it from there?
So he sent it, and I'm like, I have some options for you. He had how specific do you want me to get?
You could guess. I don't care. You can get
So he had an
specific.
interest rate above current market on an adjustable.
Oh,
So I said, this is crazy. You not only do you have a riskier loan than a fixed,
More expensive.
you're paying more expensive. I'm like, this we can.
It, like,
Joey never
and
wants to
I have a feeling. I have a pretty good feeling that there are a ton of people that are just like me out there, like that they went to the local bank, which are very nice people, and they do a great job, and they're very personable, and you get great personalized service. But I got very great personalized service with Brandon, who's a local guy as well. So, go ahead.
So he's like, all right, we got to talk about it. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Something like that. Yeah. He's
That's
like,
the way I
I'm
want.
coming right over.
I don't
was
like
okay. That's how he
Pat-
usually is like, all right, I'll be right there.
Pat and Jimmy will attest that that's the way I operate. Yeah.
So he
You
came in.
can talk. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, real quickly, he came in, and he's like, I want the lowest 30-year fixed rate possible. And I said, well, why are we doing a 30-year fixed rate? You know, he's like, all right, well, here you go. You can get a lower rate than you have now in a fixed rate. But then we started talking about what his end game was. You know, what's your goals with home ownership? Do you just want to pay a mortgage for another 30 years? Is that you want to go backwards another 3?
Right,
or
well,
do you want to retire and own your house for free? You know, have all the equity.
To think about,
or perhaps maybe this house is too big. You can build enough equity, sell it, and then buy your next house with cash.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is a financial end game here that we can look at. And he's like, well, I've never thought of that. I'm like, yeah, because most people don't ask, what are your goals with home ownership?
Yeah.
So we discussed it, and we ran the numbers.
World domination.
So he went into a 20-year fix. He took 7 years off his loan, got the interest rate 0.25% less than what he was paying, and he could pay the house off in 20 years. And I know that they want to stay there for a while. So even if they
was the turnaround time on it pretty quick? Or?
Yeah. So again, because I grew up in Gloucester, I know all the local people, and he's hit the attorney that we used. I needed to get some paperwork, and he's like, oh, geez, I don't know if I can get that. I'm like, you know what? Let me ask the attorney. I have a good feeling he can get his hands on this stuff. He's very crafty. So I asked the attorney, the local attorney, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. I can take care of that for him. So he was able to do the extra legwork that we needed to do to get it turned around quickly. And it closed in, I think, about 35 days.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, and it could have gone faster, but appraisals are slower right now because there's so much volume. Like, we're slammed. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
People not only refinancing, but they're buying houses. So we have this double whammy of just being completely inundated with a lot of people doing this, especially with the lower rates that he was talking about.
I think it's worth taking a look at the options because, people like us who bought our home a long time ago when the whole world was different in terms of mortgages and banks and everything, and we're just out of the loop on that, and to just get up to date on what the new...
Yeah, and that's what I like. That's why I'm on Main Street. I want people to come in,
Right.
sit down, talk to me just like you would at a local bank. I mean, there's nothing different.
Yeah.
One of the things, I do have an app if you want to do, like some other bigger companies, they're like, get a mortgage through an app and never talk to somebody and everything will be great.
Oh, my.
Well,
Yeah.
all those commercials and apps are very expensive, and those are built
That's
into
one
your
of those
interest rates.
newfangled things I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That
I have
kind of
those.
thing.
I have
that
apps.
kind of thing is like...
My millennials
you
that I work with in
never
downtown
think of
Boston
that.
don't want to meet me, don't want to talk to me. They want to do everything electronically. That's fine. Gloucester here is a different market. They want to look at you in the eye. They want to shake your hand. They want to read you up and down.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that you're going to take care of them and you're part of the community. So that's why we're on Main Street because I've always been part of the community here.
So what do you encourage people to do then if they're...
So if anybody has any questions, take a picture of your mortgage statement and you can direct message me or call me first. I can give you my email. My website's northshorehomeloans.com. You can apply online there if you want to get technical. You can upload your documentation through that. So I think it was about 35 days it took to close.
Yeah.
And I was telling them how I was able to get some extra paperwork that we needed to get done.
Yeah. I mean, he was great. I mean, it was a busy time of year, and he literally did half of my work for me. But patient, and he. But it was literally it was probably 45 minutes of my time to cut off 10 years.
And you're feeling really good
of
about
my
what you-
mortgage. 10 years of my life, I'm not going to pay a mortgage that I was going to pay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's bananas.
Right.
I mean, like, how lazy do you have to be to listen to process the information that he just gave you and not take action? Just for the fuck of it, just say, here's my mortgage.
Time is literally
What can
money,
we do?
because how much are you saving off the life of that mortgage? I mean,
Exactly.
Oh, what we did?
Yeah.
We did the analysis. It was something foolish, like $50,000 or.
It was
And in his payment, what he was paying to now is nominal increase.
It was like two dinners out.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
Like that much extra.
And
Two
you
dinners
gain
out.
that much, and you
And we
gain
gained
that much
10
at the
years
end.
of less
That's
payments.
wonderful.
Because what happens with a mortgage payment, part goes to interest, part goes to principal.
Mm-hmm.
On the shorter term loans, more goes to principal. So
So
when you have a
that's how it
lower
would work
rate,
too.
so it combats, and that's how you build more equity by peeling off the balance.
That's why
It's a little
whenever
bit
you
tax
can.
liability, though, right?
Pardon?
It costs you a little bit in tax liability. Cause
Well, here in Massachusetts, under the new Trump tax laws, state and local income tax,
Oh, right,
you're
of course.
You're going to get maxed out on that.
see,
So.
we got the same issue.
Yeah,
in New York,
any of those states.
And the states with decent
With-
services.
Yeah, the real estate taxes and state income tax alone eats up all that here.
Lots of guns in your face. That's cost money.
You can't beat it. So, can you give the website again?
Yes, NorthshoreHomeLoans.com.
And you're open how many days a week?
I'm open all the time. I'm actually, right after this, I'm meeting a buyer who's buying a house in Gloucester. He's a teacher. He starts school on Tuesday. He's going to have a busy week. So I said, hey, I'm here in the morning. I'll meet you at my office right afterwards. So a lot of the other things I do, if people don't have real estate agents and they want to buy a house, family deals, I usually handle a lot of that. I have a lot of that in Gloucester. I have quite a few of them right now.
If someone is out looking at real estate
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Sunday,
Yes.
and they say, oh, I want to put an offer on this place, but I'm not pre-qualified or whatever.
That's right.
Is there a way to get a hold of you and see what they can do?
You can go through my website to contact me, or my cell phone is 617-688-6891, and Charlene McCarthy sent me one yesterday.
Okay, so it's
Good
3
morning,
in the
Gloucester.
morning. I just run out of heroin. It's the greatest property. I gotta get you on the phone. But first, borrow a couple bucks.
That's definitely NorthshoreHomeLoans.com. That's 24 hours a day. My phone's usually on 8 to 8, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Usually after 8 p.m. I have to turn the ringer on because it does
I
ding
just
through
worried
the
about the
night.
life of the mortgage. How much
So much
Can you
principal.
help me?
I can't sleep.
I can't
Yeah.
sleep.
I mean,
Anybody with an adjustable rate right now is foolish not to look at
anybody with a fixed rate.
adjustable
No,
rate.
an adjustable, right.
Adjustable rate,
Anybody with
because
adjustable.
we have the second lowest fixed rates in history.
Yes,
There's no reason to be an adjustable because all they can do is go up.
that's right. It was very simple. If you don't like money,
Yeah.
and if you don't
want
like
to give the
money,
banks your money, that's fine.
and you want to work much more time throughout your year and push your retirement out, then don't contact him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's pretty much that easy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's it.
Well, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
I know you got to get out of here and stuff
I,
like that.
I'm going to
so.
stay for a few more minutes,
Oh, cool.
listen a little more, because I don't have
Awesome.
to be here. I can be here for a little bit
that's
longer,
awesome.
support the
Excellent.
podcast and the group here.
Excellent.
Hear what everybody else has
Yeah,
to
you're
say.
afraid to leave.
Well, my appointment, I didn't know how long I was being here, so I have to meet him at 10:15. So I
That's
got
perfect.
about
I'm
15 minutes.
psyched to get
That's
to hang
great.
Yeah.
So Kate and I are now boat people.
I hear that. That's exciting.
So you guys see where we are. Everybody's aware that we are over the water, right?
Don't remind me, please.
I'm 51 years old, and since I was 9 years old, I've been working at this dock. Wow. And every summer, when my friends were at the beach, I was here shoveling fish with my dad and my grandfather, watching my friends drive by on their boats with their parents, and then when they got a little bit older, driving by with girls and driving by drinking beers while I was stinky at a stinky dock over the water. So I've been on the water for 42 years, but I haven't owned a boat until just this week with my wife.
I thought your boat just happened around here.
They just
Not necessarily. I'm gonna get back to this story.
To that story.
But I have to. I got a boat here that I have to take care of. Pat, you're gonna talk about the 3 schooners. You went on all 3 of the
I did.
major Gloucester schooners this week, and I want you to give your observations.
Yeah, I have never been on a schooner, but within the last, I'd say 10 days, I've been on each of the schooner Lannon, the Ardell, and the schooner Adventure. Each of them was an amazing experience. The schooner, the Lannon, when we went out, Jim was able to come on that one, and we had a lovely time. That was just a cruise. That was just a sail we just picked, right?
Cruise.
Wasn't it? Yeah. And the Seagull came, Polly Five Toes came along,
Yes,
and
he did.
that was very friendly, very comfortable. Everybody was really nice. When I was on the Ardell this week, which is the smallest of those schooners, we were lucky to see a whole pod of dolphins out in the harbor when we were out there, and it was like just this amazing experience of being right out on the water. And they came really close to the boat and things. And there were only 5 of us riding the passengers on the boat because it was a last minute decision that the Ardell made to offer discounted tickets for a Tuesday afternoon sale, because not everybody can do that kind of thing, but we can. So I did that, and the dolphins were a big bonus. And on the adventure, that was a Mass Audubon trip, and so there were people there. We were supposed to see birds. We saw no birds. And but that was all right because I wasn't really looking for birds. I was waiting for the sunset, and I did get to see the sunset out on the water and meet a lot of nice people. So it's just been, never having done it in my whole life and then getting this opportunity. It was very different than I was expecting. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's very enjoyable, and I'm sure I'm gonna do it again. And I think that's what added to my whole enjoyment of the Schooner Festival this weekend as well. Just having that experience in my back pocket a little bit. So that was amazing. So I would recommend to anybody to be watching. They go out on public sales. There's different themed sales, different ways you can do it on the cheaper side if you want to. So I'd encourage anybody to check out the Thomas E. Lannon, the Schooner Adventure, or the Schooner Ardell if they want to do it themselves, especially before the weather turns, obviously.
I think we need to explain to our New York guys poly 5 toes.
Oh, go ahead.
Because that could really put a bad influence. It is a seagull that goes right to the captain. He knows the captain. He knows the boat. So it's just not a seagull that lands because you're opening up your chips.
Yeah.
He looks for the boat and he comes out and he lands. He does have some crackers. And he feeds him, but he comes and he looks for him, and he actually goes right on his shoulder. He goes on his hat, and
the captain Heath
has
sees
his own
him
website,
coming, and when he's flying in, it's like, oh, here comes Polly Five Toes. I'm like, how can you tell the difference of? I can just tell. All
How
right.
many toes do they normally have?
6.
Six?
Three
Is it
and
six?
3 and 3, I think.
Are they toes? They claws? Talons?
Well, it's more like webs.
Are they web? Are they web feet or they?
Yeah.
There's a picture of it. They had a big article in the Globe last night.
There you go.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Nice.
Yeah, and it is quite entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think this Polly
It's
Five
actually a
Toes
pretty good
is
story.
Polly Five Toes is the godfather.
who has
Thinking
his
of another
own
Sopranos episode,
Instagram
so I
account
want to make sure.
now too. So yes, just in case anybody wants. Which
Well, they'll let anybody on this internet. These days.
They'll do anything.
I mean, there's some great cruises around here. We all know that the Seaport cruise, and there's a bunch of other ships that go out. Of course, the Whale Watch is all over, but
We've just never done the schooners.
We've never done the schooners.
Yeah.
Well, I've done the cigar.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they do like some parties.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, the cigar, and we're not supposed to say alcohol on it. So cigar cruise, and we've done that, and it's been wonderful. It was a lot of fun times, and you go out there. It's just again peaceful. If you get a great wind, you're really moving pretty
It's just
good.
so quiet
Even
and
if it
peaceful. It's
isn't, you're
amazing.
still seeing the harbor and seeing everything, and it's really a wonderful thing. It's different. So to offer that we have 3 of them.
And we're so lucky here.
It's just.
Heidi,
again,
would you like
no,
to introduce your guests?
Yes, well, first I would like to say if anyone has seen a playwright roaming around Gloucester, we're missing Gordon. I don't know
we're
where
missing
he
somebody?
is. I'm a little worried.
Should we go check the water? Should we go?
I don't know. So if anyone sees a New York playwright roaming around Lost,
Okay.
The one's lobster
Put
stuck
it
to him. Help!
Put it out there on Facebook Live. Gordon, we're waiting.
We need to set up because I can't see all the playwrights.
I can move over. You guys.
So
can
we
move.
need to. We'll
So
put music on.
John,
Actually, you know what? You can say
When the music stops, we will.
Let's knock
John,
seven.
let's-
Chairs.
right there.
Good to see you again. Take care.
Thank you. I'll see you again. I'm sure.
Thanks for having you. Be well.
Bye, take it easy.
Take care. You as well. Enjoy.
So we have.
And this is very nice.
Yeah, there we go. The
So we
lady.
have 2 of the 3 playwrights here right now. Of The Lifespan of a Fact, which is the new show at Gloucester Stage Company, just opened this weekend, and the press opening's this afternoon. And the super exciting thing about this is that this play has not been seen anywhere in the country. It's been on Broadway. It went straight to Broadway.
Wow.
And had a sold-out run on Broadway, limited run, so not everybody could get in to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And Gloucester Stage is the first theater in the world to produce this play.
Wow.
That's
a great factoid.
Yeah, which is a real
Coup.
coup for Gloucester Stage, and but not necessarily outside of our wheelhouse, because we have introduced a lot of amazing plays that have gone on,
You've had amazing,
and amazing actors, and that have worked here. So it really kind of fits into what we do here at Gloucester Stage. So the other exciting thing is that all the creators are here this weekend.
That is wonderful.
Gordon is lost, but we love him. He's been here. He's staying at the Sea Lion. Maybe I should text Mona and see.
And his phone number is.
Let's get his picture up. So I will let we have 2 playwrights and author, book writer, essay writer, the man who kind of started the whole thing. So let's start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm the man who started everything.
Adam?
My name's John DeGata. I wrote The Lifespan of a Fact with a fact checker named Jim Fingal, who isn't here. Maybe he's with Gordon. We published it as a book in 2012, and it caused a little bit of a ruckus in the U.S. And
what kind of ruckus?
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I was trying to hide during that period.
Oh.
I think people took issue with some of the arguments we were making. The book is my attempt to argue that nonfiction writers, creative nonfiction writers, essayists, have some leeway in how they handle facts when they're writing.
Okay. I could see where that might generate a little bit of discussion. Let's say.
Hey, look, everybody slid over one.
Yeah. The director told us we needed.
Good. We have some direction here.
It is good. Yeah.
Are you struggling? Was Pat struggling in my absence to lead the charge?
Yes. No. Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was a big struggle.
She just.
Well, I saw Brandon running down the stairs. You scared him out of here.
Kicked him out so that we could move these guys over.
Jeez,
We played musical chairs and they won. So this is where they landed.
All right, where are we? What are we doing?
We are just starting to talk about the lifespan of a fact. Did I get that right? I think that's
and listen, if you don't put the in there, Heidi will fucking chew your ass off. I wrote it in the show notes. Lifespan of a fact. She corrected me 7 times until I went back and I put the in there.
That's right. That's right. These are the writers. Words are important.
Okay. Words are okay.
You got it?
I got you.
You got it?
I didn't even know there was a
Thank you.
It's my title.
We did argue about it a few times because frequently we called it loaf to each other.
Yeah.
Lifespan of a fact. And then yes,
probably don't want to
fully
do that.
baked. And then we're like, but is there a in there? That we had to go back to the cover, and we went with the
There's always breaking news on Good Morning Gloucester. And this is breaking news. The writer found
the definite article. It's a definite article.
Wait a minute, do we need to call Jim though? That's what
Yeah. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
So we were hearing about the authorship of the book, of the original.
Because it was originally a book.
It was originally an essay.
It was originally an essay that this gentleman wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How long ago? He's got a baby face. He looks like he just got out of college.
He ages so
well.
well.
I think I wrote it.
How old are you?
He's 86.
I'm older than I look. I think I wrote it in 2004, but it wasn't published as an essay until 2010.
Right out of the fetus, he was writing.
And then it came out as a book in 2012.
You look
think,
young. You
but
look
my
young.
dates
Jeez, I wish I
might
had that.
be right.
That. What do you use for product?
It's just that healthy Midwestern air.
Is that
There
what
we
it is?
go.
Big corn and pork.
Works for me. Works for me.
That's how you keep that figure. That's amazing.
That's amazing. I'm sorry for getting off track.
So John wrote the original essay
Mm-hmm.
and worked with a fact checker to make sure his facts were correct in the essay. And therein lies the book. And then these gentlemen turned it into a play.
Oh, so you two were separate from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys came in to take it to the next.
Yeah, his book was published
Iteration.
in 2012, and I don't know if you were in the room yet. It caused quite a stir in like sort of literary circles because it's a real intellectual debate happening in the book he wrote, and it was reviewed immediately. And we read the book review in, I think it was the New York Times. It was reviewed widely, but we read it in the Times and immediately thought this had potential as some kind of dramatic work, either a small movie or a play.
Oh, so you guys have worked together
Yes.
prior
Right.
to that.
Yeah, we've known each other since 1987. We
Oh,
went to
okay.
college together, and we've written a lot of things over the years.
Where'd you guys go to school?
University of Chicago.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
big writers, a lot of big writing school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or two. And so, yeah, we had David came to me with this review of the book, which was not a positive review. It was a very angry review about it, and the anger that the reviewer was showing was palpable. I mean, you could just see her red face inside the
Teeth grinding.
like, she's furious about it. And of course, people who get angry about this debate don't realize that they're being energized by the debate as well.
Yeah.
And they're just so passionate about it. How can you possibly think this? How could this book be done? Just like, and just, furious that he, that you can possibly say this about facts. And we thought there was drama there. And then we got the book, and we're laughing out loud at the book because the book is funny. It's really a funny piece of work.
And this person.
Because everybody's getting so hot under the collar about minutia, or what seem to be minutia, but are very important to these people. And it made us laugh. I remember calling David a few times over this, like, are you reading this? This is so fucking funny. And like, what was wrong with this reviewer that she's so upset about it? And then
Right, and they're funny too because angry people are funny.
Yes.
That's true.
You have to laugh
That
at
is
them. You're
true.
losing your shit. You're you're a fool. It's just calm down. And
Well,
So-
that goes on a lot on the interwebs. Now.
Oh,
Yeah, and the
There's a lot of
and
people.
writers
People.
have to take themselves so seriously, and literary critics have to take themselves so seriously. So, and they can't see how in their bubble they are.
Their house of cards.
Yeah.
If they don't take themselves seriously, and other people's don't, then their house of cards falls apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we brought the book and the essay to this producer, and we said we think this could be something, play, movie, whatever. And he goes, no, play. And we're like, well, it could be. What do you think? Off Broadway? No, Broadway. It's got to be Broadway.
Really?
This is a Broadway play.
yeah, I mean, we brought him the idea, and then he, to his great credit, he was an older man. He was in his late 70s at the time, but up until the end, he died a few years later. He had more energy than either of us or both of us combined.
Towering man.
He immediately ordered the book online, got it, read it, got back to us, and said, "Yes, go write a play." And that's when Jeremy
Yeah.
said. He was adamant from the very beginning and never had any doubt that he did not want it to be off Broadway. He didn't want it to be some little play. He was like, "This is Broadway or nothing," and it starts on Broadway.
And that's unusual.
Well,
It is unusual.
yeah, and also I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it went to Broadway without ever having been produced at a smaller theater to kind of workshop it and polish it, which is almost unheard of. So it came from out of nowhere.
And there
in a
was
lot of
also
people's
something that
minds.
he demanded, like previous directors had said, I found this great regional theater, we could workshop it, and he said, no, absolutely not. And of course, we're pulling our hair out, like, look at it! And he's like, no, Broadway or nothing. And unfortunately, he didn't live to see it on Broadway, but
Oh,
his
that's
dream
too
came
bad.
true.
Dream
Did
came
come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norman was he produced things on Broadway before, and one of them was one of Broadway's great, legendary, unfortunately flops, the musical version of Lolita, and and it's not a bad show, but it's called Lolita, My Love, and it's John Barry does the music, Alan J. Lerner writes it, and he's like, and I still don't understand why it flopped. I said, because it's Lolita the musical.
I just want to back up a second. Yeah. So you're out in Iowa. You have this book you wrote 10 years ago. All of a sudden, an essay. It turned into a book. Now some people from New York said, we read the review. We're going to make this on a play. And you're saying, what?
I think it was actually Norman, the first producer, who approached me when I was in New York at a bookstore doing a reading. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't know about Lolita the musical. I didn't know anything. But it was just this older gentleman who came up to me, as a lot of people were coming up to me, saying things about the book. He said, this should be a play. And like at that point, the entire world had sort of crapped on me, and I just didn't want to listen to anybody else, even if they were saying good things. So I just sort of dismissed him. But the next day he called my agent, and I think he made an offer on it, and we said, okay, that's ridiculous, but if you want to give us money, go do whatever. I think we didn't think anything would come of it. And but Jeremy and David were right. He was so incredibly driven right until the end, and he stuck by them through 80,000 drafts.
Yeah. 6 years. 6 years it took to write the play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and,
how do you sustain yourself during that time?
How do
you sustain yourself during that time?
Alcohol. Oh, you mean like how do we pay the rent and things like that?
Oh, I've always had a day job. I still have a day job.
Oh, okay.
My entire adult life, I've worked 5 days a week, 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
I was the researcher on a TV show called Inside the Actors Studio for 17 years, and that was a good.
The one with job.
The one with the guy.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
James Lipton.
James Lipton. Yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So the little blue cards James always had on the show with the questions. Jeremy made the little blue cards.
Wow. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So wait, so he just was like so wait a second. James Lipton was just like the intellectual face, but really had zero substance, and you were doing all the work behind. He was just like a newscaster, like Ted Kronk. Ted. What was the show? WKRP in Cincinnati. Yeah.
Oh, Mary Tyler Marshall. I thought
No. That's what I meant. Ted Baxter. He's just like.
You want to be a quizmaster, Ted? Oh, not when you say it.
Breaking news.
Oh wait, what's the other one with what's the other one that Will Ferrell played?
Oh right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Anchorman.
Yeah.
So he had no.
No. Jim was a very smart guy. He was before.
Wait till his people find out that you just shit all over him. You just stole all the credit for everything he ever did. 18 years of that behind the Actors Studio.
So the first 4 years of the show, Jim did all his own research, and
then he got lazy, and then he hired you.
No, then I asked a bunch of weird questions because I was a student there and got my playwriting degree there.
Where there?
At the Actors Studio Drama School. That's where the show has been filmed for since its inception. And so, yes, I was a student there, and then Alan Alda came to the show, and he did a
change your life forever.
He kind of did, and he did a movie called the Four Seasons, and there's a moment when Carol Burnett pops out of a traffic jam, out of a moonroof, and says, "Are we having fun yet?" And Jim asks Alan Alda, "Did you make up that phrase?" And Alan Alda said, "Yes, I made up the phrase, I think." And then afterwards, I popped up and did a fact-checking moment. I said, actually, you didn't make up the phrase. That was Zippy the Pinhead by Bill Griffith in 1974, 6 years before the movie. And I was just... And they looked at me like, what the fuck is this?
This is before the internet, too, probably, right?
Yeah, the internet was around.
But you knew it.
I knew it anyway, because I'm a comic book fan.
And big independent comic fan.
Yeah, I love big independent comics, and I was just into this stuff, and that phrase was always interested. I always thought it was an interesting phrase, and anyways, and there was a couple other questions that I asked that they thought this guy is a fucking weirdo, and I got to get this guy, actually doing the research on the show, and that's how I ended up doing it. And the way he did the research was he'd go to the library, make copies, and cut it out with scissors and glue and tape, and made this mangy arts and crafts project. And I'm like, Jim, why are you doing this? I'll put it on PowerPoint or something, and it's all animus. So yeah, he always did research himself, but just in a very steam-powered way. So I was able to turbocharge it a bit.
I have a question for you. I don't want to go too far off topic, but you said you're an independent comic. Did you like Mad Magazine at all?
Oh, well, yeah.
It was formative influence on me.
Would you happen to know...
I mean, I have hundreds of them in a box.
Would you happen to know a guy named Kaboom J. Schneider?
Not by name.
No.
Okay.
Love the name, but it sounds like a...
He was a...
Kaboom, that's Jewish.
He worked for Mad Magazine. That's why. And he made these... He took Gloucester postcards and he would cut out really strange things from magazines and paste them. Just come around here for 1 second.
Oh, yeah. Was that his real name? Was it parents? Was it
So
parents down?
He just did this. He would just do this crazy stuff with these.
Oh, that's hysterical.
And these are examples of what he would do. But decades before the computer, email, Photoshop, I would sit and cut out pictures from magazines and newspapers. Blah 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 blah. Oh,
it's like.
But he worked. He is years later. I would work for Mad. So the
Kaboom Schneider.
Was he from Gloucester?
He lived in Gloucester in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In Mad Magazine, and he
It's a
submitted.
Terry Gilliam thing of doing the magazines and the postcards and mixing the media together and then editing them.
He comments a lot on the.
Yeah.
He's very into the Good Morning Gloucester
Was he
community.
born with the name Kaboom?
I
That's
have
awesome.
to believe no. Schneider is his last name.
Was he born with the name Schneider? What
Schneider.
the hell is wrong with it? Schneider.
So tell me about the play. Why should I go see the play?
Why should you see the play?
Yeah.
Why should?
Well, if your adjustable rate mortgage is too high.
So, Joey, you did miss.
Sorry.
You did miss one thing: the fact that we are the first here at Gloucester Stage in Gloucester are the first people in the country to produce the play outside of Broadway since Broadway.
Wow.
So there was no regional production, nothing, straight to Broadway, and now we are the first ones to get the rights to it.
Who was responsible for that? Was it Bob?
Chris Griffith and Bob and Gloucester Stage's amazing history of being a home to new plays and.
So it wasn't
also our director, Sam Weissman.
Oh.
He had relationships with Norman Twain and Jeffrey Richards, who was another producer on the project. So
Norman Twain is the producer that believed in it.
The guy that passed.
Yeah.
Why should we see the play?
I'll answer. You have a customer, I think, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
be right.
everybody in the room knows it.
We'll hold off until you get back. We'll talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about the 6 years or 6.5 years. You said it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a typical? I have no idea.
I don't know if there are
That
any
sounds like a long
statistics.
time.
I don't know if there are any statistics kept about play in incubation periods, but it felt like a long time to
It
us.
seems like a
certainly
long
seems it,
time.
Yeah.
musicals actually will take upwards of 10 years.
Wow.
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Well, they are
that I've
very
associated with.
complex.
Well, one reason it took a while is that I'm not boasting, but everyone said we were crazy to try to do this. If you read the book, it is not obvious that this should be a movie or a play by any means, and people laugh about.
It's a comedy about proofreading and suicide. So
Yeah.
So it's
about as good an
Let's
idea.
go.
Let me
Lolly the musical, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I understand. You wrote the play based on the book.
It's sort of
And
inspired
it's not
by the book.
Is
yeah.
it about the disruption that occurred after the book was published?
No, it's not. What it is
Okay.
the book. John's book, The Lifespan of a Fact, which, by the way, is about we keep referring to this essay he wrote, and it was called "What Happens There." Is that what the title of the essay was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The essay itself was called "What Happens There." The book, The Lifespan of a Fact, is the argument between Jim Fingal and John. The book is nothing but dialogue.
With the essay sort of published in the center of the
Yeah.
article.
Oh, okay, all right.
And so,
And the fact checker,
Right.
Yeah.
John.
Right. Okay.
so, well, now that you're back, I mean, why should people see the play? I I think to answer that, I would back up to say, why did we think it would make a good play? And that's why people should see the play, is because it, in fact, did have the stuff to make a good play. And what I would say is basically,
it's a hearty intellectual fight.
well, the wit and the humor and the dialogue and the characters, they're just, see the play because they're good characters and they're very entertaining and very interesting. The second thing is what drew us to it in the first place, which is that there's this issue at the heart of it which drives people crazy and infuriates a lot of people. So there's something compelling about what it is that John D'Agata does as an artist, because an essayist is an artist, and that same compelling thing is in the play also. And then third, this thing that we've mentioned, and Jeremy literally just mentioned suicide for the first time. There's a real elephant in the room here, which is that the essay is about the suicide of a teenage boy. It's a terrible, upsetting, tragic subject that this essay is about. And that, too, is really undergirding the play. It's really the heart of the play, is that even though we have a lot of comedy in it, there's this awful thing at its center. So the play contains all three of those main, legs of the stool.
A lot of layers there.
Yeah, there are a lot of layers there, and it takes a lot of. It's a fast-moving play about kind of rather weighty issues and issues of the mind, but it's very briskly paced, and there's no fat on it, but people will. And there's something about the character of Jim that always attracted us to the play, to make this play, because this is a character just. The fact checker is this guy who will not be stopped, and he is someone who takes the facts as seriously as some of John's critics, and they've got what an old acting teacher of mine said. He's got a rocket up his ass. He will not be stopped. You have to have a rocket up your ass. He always said.
Oh my God.
So
he was later arrested.
I'm sorry, Jane. That's not
I think you can guess why.
And you're pleased with the Gloucester stage for your?
Hugely so. Hugely.
That's
wonderful place.
That's great.
Great building, great structure,
It's
wonderful
so,
people.
yeah.
There's a lot of choices that
It's
they
so
make that
personal
are
and
different and better than the Broadway
Oh,
production.
you mean this production?
Yes, this
our
production.
play.
Yes.
Oh, right, for our play. I was meant more in general. It seems like a great theater, but yeah, for our play, we're delighted.
We're delighted with this production.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, there are some things that we prefer to how they did it on Broadway. Some blind readings and some the direction is a lot different. So
yeah, there were some surprising moments.
Very much so.
Really?
Yeah, and it would be hard to explain if you didn't see the Broadway version. But the Emily character, the editor character, played by Lindsay Krause, has one line, just one word that. She screams essay at some point. That was never, the word is in the play. But it's something Cherry Jones never did.
They never performed that
Krause
way.
just takes it, and it's, I think, one of the best moments in the performance.
Wow.
It's one
neat
word.
to hear that.
There's a couple moments where
hits
Lindsay
it.
just lets herself go, and you're like, and Lindsay, I've always seen her on
Law and
film,
Order.
or on film too, and she's such an imposing character on film and television, and then on stage she's sweet. She's kind, and then some of that, explosive energy in her just comes out at really wonderful moments.
Yeah, she just goes from 0 to 1,000, literally like an explosive going off.
It
comes.
What just happened? It's fun.
Yeah.
And the kid who's playing Jim is
astonishing.
He's great. He just out of Harvard, and his first was it even his first professional production? Derek Speed?
I think so.
I believe so. Yeah. He's going to be equity because of
He's going to be more than equity. After
I
this.
think he might be a star in the making. He's really exceptional. Yeah. And these are the biggest actors he's ever worked with, so he's very, very excited about it.
This kid, and he's cast in another production of Lifespan of a Fact already. And I was
that
like,
public? Do you think?
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, it is now. It is now.
We won't say when.
But is it true? Is it not true? Does it
Jeremy may have been lying.
Does it really matter? Really?
Anyways,
I don't know. What do you think, John?
Wrong person to ask.
And Mickey Solis is really interesting too, because Mickey's more similar to John physically
Oh yeah.
Bobby Cannavale in the Broadway production is this
Very
enormous
big guy.
lug of a guy, and
Yeah.
then Mickey is more like John is. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, Mickey's very wiry and
Yeah.
kind
he's-
of. Yeah. So the thing is, so on Broadway, the show starred Jerry Jones playing Lindsay Krause's role, Bobby Cannavale playing John.
Of course.
playing a character who shares John's name and parts of his biography.
And
Dan Radcliffe.
and then Daniel Radcliffe, which some of you may have heard of.
You might
him.
have heard of Dan.
You
yeah.
might have heard of Daniel Radcliffe, and who played the fact checker. So those are the only people that have played those roles.
Yeah.
Except for in real life. Right?
There's a question I've been always wanting to ask: is what's it like seeing a guy with your name and your biography wandering around on a stage? Do you just let it go, or do you any of it go? Does it ever feel like personal or weird, or is it like seeing evil Captain Kirk up there?
You know, Bobby's, well, it's not his wife, his partner, Rose Byrne, at the dress rehearsal, first performance any of us could see, was the first person to come up to me and say, "So what do you think? What's it like seeing Bobby?" And I think from day one, my feeling was it's not me. It's a character. Like the person in the book is a character. Certainly, the person in the play is a character. The only weird thing is constantly hearing my name.
Yeah, that must be weird.
And I don't know what to say about that. But like I too, the thing that's fantastic about the play is that I too sit there and watch these arguments and don't know where I land on either side of the argument.
And does it change over like one performance to the next? Does that sometimes change?
Depends on the power of the argument that the actors are making. I remember, well, I can't tell that story because I would give away too much about the play. So
don't give away the helicopter chase.
One thing that's worth saying though is the play is so. You guys have done a brilliant job balancing the argument.
In this day and age,
at every moment you're moving with the characters. You empathize with them fully, and then you want to strangle them. And there's this just the movement and the balance is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it was very important to us that the play not be a polemic weighing in favor of either side. This is not a play about how Jim is actually right, or John, or the reverse, John is actually right. That we think that would be horrible and boring and not worth
in this day and age of Fox News or MSNBC, like
where your loyalty.
Very timely.
People ask us, when
they ask, "Are we gay?"
Yeah, right.
No, we go like this a lot.
Yeah.
My partner here, writing partner.
Yeah, we always say, writing partner. So but they'll ask, well, who are you in this? Are you Jim? Are you John? I'm like, yes. There are times I go back and forth between the two, and
I'm the mom's armchair.
So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I'm not even going to talk about my actual views on the subject.
Yeah, because I don't know where I stand. That changes all the time, and it also sometimes depends on the audience, because you can tell when audiences are on one side and you get affected by people going.
I'm actually completely clear on where I stand, but I just don't think I have a particularly interesting stand on it, so it's not worth saying. That goes without saying.
You're a deeply uninteresting person.
But what is cool is seeing the play and listening to the audience as they're filing out of the theater, already debating with the people that came to see the performance.
The best movies. The best movies. That's what it is.
We want the play to go on after the lights go out.
Yeah.
Well, last night, after the show, we had all these guys up on stage and did a talk back afterwards, so the audience could interact with them and ask them questions. And I thought that was a very spirited. How did you guys feel about that? Had you done that? You've done with the book. So
no, we did it in New York.
Yeah,
it was spirited.
That certainly was. A particular writer wanted to exile us to the Red
Yeah,
Tents,
yeah.
because she was very angry in that way about it, and it was like, I'm glad that we're glad that you're excited.
This
about
visceral reaction. You're
Yeah.
happy about that.
Well, it was interesting to see because this particular person was absolutely could have been one of the people who wrote one of those reviews back in 2012. It was just carbon copy because they're all carbon copies of each other. They all have exactly the same objections, and it's venomous. It's just,
like when
it's
they have
it's
that
amazing.
level of of passion about this subject, it's okay. I know where you stand. I hear it, and I've heard it.
Yeah, I can't even bring myself to use the word passion because it's so infected with hatred that it is passion technically, but it's very unappealing. Very ugly.
I'm dying to go see it.
She
now.
needs help.
Yeah.
She needs help.
No, it's good.
I'm dying to go
It's
see
good,
it.
and you'll get to see. And,
I'm
you know,
not
'cause
crazy, you're crazy.
John. There's character. John is on. They use all the names.
They tried to have us change that. And we
Really? I was wondering about that.
Absolutely. We went through all these. It's like naming your dog or something, or your baby, and we went through all these names, and none of them worked as well as the real names did. We couldn't because for some reason your names are both evocative to us.
They're
at least.
good names, actually.
The guy there's like Dagger and like there's also
Fingle's like
Max
Fingal.
Strong, yeah.
And Fingal.
And Fingal, he's a fink and he fingers you. It's like Fingal.
Fingal!
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 You see a Borscht Bell, comedy on Fingal, get in here, yes sir. It's just something. It's so perfect. And
we couldn't duplicate it.
We can't change that.
We wanted to name Emily Julie, but we were forbidden because they said we couldn't have three characters with the same letter.
Oh, the same
It was
letter.
confusing for
The
actors.
director, the first director, was just like, no, we have to change this.
Did you ever not want them to use your name? Was that ever
No. No.
Did Jim, do you know? Did he care? I think it's helped him.
Yeah, Jim has been helped.
Yeah.
It's helped him.
We made Jim we get half.
Oh, look, it's Jim Fingal coming into my office after all these years.
Talking about Triscuits.
How are your Triscuits, Fingal?
I think there was such a reaction to the book that it's not like I can't escape my name.
Right.
Right.
It's not like we blew the lid on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
no, it's fine.
Yeah, you never said you're not using my name.
No.
Well, and the chance to blur the idea of blurring fact and fiction, and blurring the created line between fiction and nonfiction is fun. Why?
Yeah,
that's
it's
part
just
of
another fun element. Of
Well,
the
I
project.
expected to meet a totally different guy on Saturday night than the guy.
Who are you going to meet?
I thought I was meeting, the
An
Mickey
asshole?
Solis character. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And the guy that I emailed back and forth that was so super nice and talked to Gail McCarthy before he came here and was very nice. And then I'm like, wow, he's really nice. I don't understand.
Norman wanted us not to talk to John early in the project, so I think artistically, maybe there's business reasons too. I don't know, but that worked. That served it because we created a character that's not John.
I'm
based on
hugely glad. It would have been impossible probably to come up with the character we did, and it would have instead been more like John, who's not interesting theatrically.
Where's the love?
Can hardly tell he's alive.
I'm so jealous. I've never seen two guys more passionate about their work than these two.
Joey, we have two comments here. The first one is from Susan Marie Wood, who says, first of all, love the show. Keep on the streaming. It's former Gloucester resident. Hugs to my hometown. But this one I really like. Brenda Grimes Davis, in a tribute to James Lipton. Could Joey ask all the guests what their favorite dirty word is when you end about the podcast? That's from Brenda.
That's a good suggestion. That's a great suggestion.
What their favorite dirty word is when I end the podcast?
Favorite
I love that is where Brenda Grimes Davis is. Where her mind goes.
We're talking about all this great play, and that's
She's the best. She's the best. That's why I love her. She's the most real. Her and her daughter Kylie Davis are two of the most authentic Gloucester people probably that I know.
Huh.
They're you could put those two people
their existence makes you a pretender, is what you're saying.
No, but
They
but
have to
they
die.
are absolutely they you could put them in the room with anybody and they would be comfortable, and they're the most funniest people. Oh yeah, we should get them to see the show. Do you have a couple tickets for them?
There you go.
Sure.
Nobody sent
Sure.
The tickets that you were gonna give for me, I want tickets for them.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
You know
Better
what,
be-
Joey? You can come to the show too. Listen to this: 90 minutes, no intermission. Boom. You can get out before the restaurant.
What time does this start?
Yeah.
7:30 during the week. And look, you could even go to work the next day.
Yeah, I could
You
make
could
that.
get
happen.
your. You could
So
get
when
your
is the
sleep
play
in.
going? From when to when? When
It's going until September 22nd, and it is Wednesday through Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. Sundays after the show, we have talkbacks. Today, you're going to get these amazing guys.
You got to come meet these guys. The writers.
Yeah,
These guys.
yeah. If you can come.
I want to hang out with them. All I want to do is I just want to go drink beer with these guys.
Well, these guys are staying at Blue Shutters, so you can go hang with them.
Well, that's not a bad. That's not a bad spot.
And if you need a couple points off your mortgage, give us a call.
But John wouldn't tell
Finkel.
me where he was staying, so I don't know where he is.
Frankenstein Rankin.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm thinking of the Idaho potato truck that's coming down the road with all that potato sign. That's where you're probably staying over. In that truck right there.
We missed the turnip truck, so we
Where's he
came in
been?
with potatoes.
Has he been here?
What, Jim? What am I missing with that?
No, forget it. I know people have heard it.
Well,
a couple
Iowa.
of people are giggling right now. Most people are saying, "Move on, Joey."
Idaho potato truck.
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa.
But he's really from, the Cape, the other Cape. So.
We asked them. We asked them each where their loyalties were because I knew these guys. They were New Yorkers, so we wanted to make sure they were Mets fans.
Yeah.
We still have a certain amount of.
Cubs, actually.
Huh?
I'm Cubs. My wife's a Mets fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a.
How do you feel
sports fan
about How do you feel about Theo Epstein?
I'm not a sports fan in general, but it's like I will turn on and I'm like, I watched them lose for so long.
That's okay.
And it's kind of the magic's gone out of it since they won the World Series. But the magic of
can you
baseball
imagine?
is about the losers? Like Mike Casey lost.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what's the beauty
Could
of
you
it.
imagine? So us New England fans, right? We've been now this past year, like there was like three teams potential championships, right? And in any other city, like there was game nights, and maybe just as real sports fans were even talking about the game because everybody is so dulled to the fact that we're in another championship. In any other town, like St. Louis or whatever,
Cleveland?
like the whole town is upside down. There's placards everywhere. Go team, this, that, and the other thing.
Literally the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Fuck my kids.
Yeah.
Fuck my wife. Literally, the best.
That's where we are now.
Yeah,
It's
right.
bananas. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's craziness.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're gonna link to the show in the show notes. I want to thank you guys for coming.
The question?
Oh, the question.
What was the question?
Yeah.
Oh, what's everybody's favorite swear word?
Start?
Me? Oh,
You're
jeez.
on the
I know.
left.
She said.
Once I just hurt myself so I just scream. I just hit myself with a hammer and my thumb with a hammer. A whole stream of curse words came out at the end. I said donkey butter.
Donkey
And I was like, where'd that come from? I like it.
We're together. That's good.
I think it's sonorous with motherfucker, but
Yeah.
it's
That could be in a
Donkey,
children's
did
book.
you make that up? Or?
donkey butter. I don't know.
That was in Zippy the Pinhead.
That's James Lipton's favorite.
Yeah.
Mine, the most extreme one I use or can think of is motherless fuck.
These are very writerly curse words.
Yeah,
I
very.
think it's about the worst thing I can think of because it rips away the foundation, the one foundation you at least think couldn't be ripped away from you, and I'm doing it. I'm like,
Italians have a lot of like those foundation,
serious things like that, yeah.
shaking, swear,
Right,
curse phrases.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is the most intellectual moment of this podcast.
That's all. We
I'm just gonna
strive to
say
bring the latest and greatest.
I'm old fashioned. I'll just say fuck because I use
It's
it
a
a lot.
great one.
There you go. There you go.
reliable,
I'm
comfortable.
old fashioned.
Very reliable.
Old-fashioned.
Heidi, go ahead.
I don't know. I work with children.
Yeah.
I don't
All right.
curse.
Well, we'll give you a pass. We'll give you a pass. That's okay because I
When
get
I
you.
work with children, I probably curse more. Sometimes I have to close the door
No,
first.
not the students at Gloucester State.
Oh, you just about that now.
Not the students at
Bob,
the
Bob, what do you got?
I don't know. You don't want to do cultural appropriation, but you know, fakakta or bupkis, words like that.
There you go.
Just because the sounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I love doing is Shakespearean insults.
Oh,
Which the words are just so juicy that you want them in the atmospheres.
Yeah.
Can I give an example?
Thou gleeking, varlet-faced scut.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice. I like it. Pat, go ahead, Pat.
I'm gonna say Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, like all one word.
Okay. Very good. Jimmy.
Poppycock.
On the show, the men were always the cowards. They would always say, "Oh, fluff," or things like that, and then the women would just
Rip loose.
let it go, and then that changed later. But the men realized they were being.
Mine is Jabutis.
Ah.
Jabutis is Sicilian for testicles.
Oh.
So, oh yeah, it's like and it's like.
Grab you by the jabutis.
So, oh yeah, like careful, don't. You almost got my jabutis. You know.
We're running out of juice.
We're good. We're good. All right, this is GloucesterCast 355. I don't want to lose this. So we're gonna wrap it up right now. Thank you guys for coming and go see the show.
Go see the show. Next week the cast, and we'll talk about these guys. Find out how
Absolutely.
about them.
And look in the show notes for all the information, and you can buy tickets online.
Get here quick.